Rambam. Now we're going to discuss the listing of the mitzvahs, part 1, listing of mitzvahs, part 2, listing of mitzvahs, part 3. This is day 3 in the Shleishu Prakim. V'ra'isi, the Rambam says, V'ra'isi the Chalashi Rizeh, Arba Osir Dvarim. I see fit that the division of the mitzvahs, according to the halachas of this mitzvah, should be into 14. I see fit to divide the text into 14 books. Sefer Rishon, the first book, Echlel B'Kol Mitzvah Shein Hikar Das Meshua Abel Chaleda Lis and Tchila Akol Yiflu Shmei Baruch Hu V'Yisrael V'Dazar V'Kras Zeh V'Kras Shem Zeh Sefer Amada. The Rambam says like this: I will include with it all the mitzvahs that are the foundation of the faith, taught by Moshe, our teacher, that which a person must know before everything, the unity of Hashem, the Isser against worshipping false gods. And the Rambam says, I call this the book of Mada, the book of knowledge. Sefer Sheni, the second book, is Echel B'Mitzvah Shein Kedidish, Nestablu B'Hen K'tei Le'eyev V'Samokim L'Zofer Tamik. Again, Kriyishma Tfilah Tfilah Brachas Amidah V'Chlal Fi Shehi Ois B'Psodenu L'Hasker Tam V'Shalosh She'en Shom L'Tfilah L'Tzitzis V'Kiyitzman L'Kras Zeh V'Karasi Shem V'Sefer Zeh Sefer Abo. I will include with it all the mitzvahs that are constant and that which were commanded to us, so that we will love Hashem and constantly remember Him. For example, reciting Kriyishma, Tefillin, and the Berachos Kenim. Bris is concluded in the category because it's a sign in our flesh to recall Hashem constantly during the times when we're not wearing Tefillin and Mezuzahs. I've called this book Sefer Abba, the book of love. Sefer Shtisha Echel B'Yei HaMitzvahs She'em Mizmaneim Yidum K'in Shabbos Amedim Krasi Shem Sefer Zmanim. I will include within it all the mitzvahs that are associated with specific times, for example, Shabbos and the festivals, and I call this the book of Zman, the book of seasons. Sefer Levi, Echel B'Yei Mitzvah Shul Levi Lokagayim Kedushin and Gershon, V'yim Chalitza V'Karasi Shem, Sefer Zed, and Sefer Nashim. I will include within it all the mitzvahs that include intimate relations, marriage, divorce, Yibum, and Chalitza. I have called this book the book of woman. Sefer Kamishin Echel B'Yei Mitzvah Shul Levi Yisasuras and Mitzvah Shul Machas Asuras, Keshabishnein Yanam Elu Kotshal Kidshanu Amokim V'Dlanim and Umis. Baris and Machos Asus V'Shem Nemer V'Avlasam L'Am Asher Hidalti Esam L'Am V'Krasis Shem Sefer Zeh Sefer Kedusha. I will include within it all the mitzvahs that involve forbidden intimate relations, and those that involve forbidden foods. I have grouped the two, forbidden intimate relations and forbidden foods, together because it's these two matters that Hashem has sanctified us and separated us from other nations. The Teda mentions the concept of Kedusha with regard to these matters, as it says, I am Hashem who has separated you from amongst the nations, and I have set you amongst the nations. I have called this book the book of Kedusha, the book of holiness. Sefer Shishi Echel B'Yei Mitzvah Shein Chayev Peh Misha Osa Asma Mitzvonim K'in Yeshuas and Dvarim Krasiz Ev Same Sefer Haflo. I will include within it all the mitzvahs that one is obligated in it when he forbids himself certain things by his statements, vows, and oaths, and I have called this book the book of Haflo, the book of utterances. Sefer Shvi, the seventh book. Echel B'Yei Mitzvah Shehem B'Zera Ha'aretz K'goyin Shmitas V'Yevis U'Maisus V'Trumas V'Shamas Haniglolim Yimoim Minyanim V'Krasi Zeh B'Sem Sefer Zemanim. I will include within all the mitzvahs that deal with the produce of the earth, for example, Shvis and Yevel, Trumas, Shmitas, Maisers, Trumas, and other relevant mitzvahs. I call this book Sefer Zoran, the book of agricultural laws. Sefer Shemini, the eighth book. Echel B'Yei Mitzvahs Shein B'Binyan Midah Shekabot Asibir Tvinu Krasvi Shem Sefer B'Sem Sefer Aveda. I will include within all the mitzvahs that involve the construction of the Samidash, the Karbonis that are brought regularly, and I will call this Sefer Aveda. Sefer Shi, his ninth book, is Echel B'Yei Mitzvah Shein B'Karbonis Adachid Krasi Shem Sefer Karbonis. I will include within it all the mitzvahs that involve the Karbonis brought by individuals, and I call this the book of Karbonis. Sefer Asiri is Echel B'Yei Mitzvah Shein B'Taras V'Tumas Krasi Zeh B'Sem Sefer Tara. I will include within it all the mitzvahs that involve ritual purities and impurities, and I have called the book of Tara. Sefer Achadas Echel B'Yei Mitzvahs Ben Shein Adam Chaveri V'Yesh B'Hem Hezet Chilib B'Mom B'Guf Krasi Zeh B'Sem Karasi Shem Sefer Zeh Sefer Nizakim. I will include with it all the mitzvahs that are between an individual and his friend that involve damage to property or personal injury. I have called this Sefer Nizakim, the book of damages. Sefer Shem Master Echel B'Mitzvahs Mechili Kli across his Shem Sefer Zeh Sefer Kinyan. I will include within all the mitzvahs that go over the sales and the acquisition of property. I've called this the acquisition of Sefer, the book of acquisition. Sefer Shleisha Asar. Echel B'Mitzvahs Shem Adam L'Chavedi B'Shadin She'em Tzvas L'Lazik Ein Shem Nem Balei Cheves Atanas Akiris across the Sefer Mishpatim. I will include within all the mitzvahs that govern relations between the individual and his friends, that do not involve damage at the outset, the laws of watchmen, the laws of people who are debtors, claims lodged against each other, and I call this the Book of Judgment. And the last Sefer Arba Asar, this is the 14th book. Ethel by Mitzvah in Masudim Sanhedrin, Mitzvah is based in Kabbalah's Eidus. I will include with it all the mitzvahs that are delegated to the Sanhedrin, execution when convicted by the court, acceptance of testimony, and the laws pertaining to a king, and the words he wages. I've called this Sefer Shaitim. These are the governing principles for the division of the halachas of the text according to the subjects treated in different books of the division of the mitzvahs according to the subject treated in the halachas. Sefer Mada, the Rambam says. I'm just going to read this very, very, very quickly. Like this. The place of Chamesh is also the Hilchas. The place of you say that Teda Hilchas, the place they is Hilchas Talmud Teda Hilchas. Have these are Hilchas Hagim Hilchas Shuba. Hilchas you say that the Rambam says it's Bechon Esther Mrs. Mrs. Asev Abraham Mrs. Lisa said was over Prata later. Shisha Malika Yishli Yal Mashav Shisha Malika Zulasu Hashem. So you have to know that there is Hashem, to know not to consider the thought that there is another besides Hashem. Liyachte, to unify Hashem. To love Hashem, the to fear Him, the Kaddish Shmoi, to sanctify His name, the Chalal Shmoi, not to profane His name, not to destroy those things associated with His name, to listen to the prophet who speaks in God's name, and not to test Hashem. If they say there is the Hilchas Deis is Ish B'chol Nach Achas, As Esrei Mitzvahs, Chomesh Mitzvahs, Sheish Mitzvahs, was all product. Yet the laws of the personal development. They contain 11 mitzvahs, 5 positive commandments, and 6 negative commandments. What are they? To emulate His ways. Be able to cling to those who know Him. To love one's fellow Jew. To love converts. Not to hate one's brethren. To rebuke. Not to embarrass. Not to oppress the unfortunate. Not to gossip. Not to take revenge. Not to bear a grudge. The laws of Talmud Teda is the laws of learning Torah to contain 2 mitzvahs to study of Torah, to honor those who study and know it. The laws that will govern the worship of stars and the statues of idolaters. It has was all proton. It contains 51 mitzvahs, 2 positive commandments, and 49 negative commandments, and there are not to show interest in the worship of it, not to stray after the thoughts of one's heart, the sight of one's eyes, not to curse, not to worship false gods or the type of service with which they are customarily served, not to bow down, not to make an idol for oneself, not to make it for other people, not to make images even for decoration, not to entice others to worship false gods, to burn a yearly dachas. Never to rebuild it. Not to receive benefits from any of its property. Not to persuade a single individual to worship false gods. not to love and maces. Shelaziv sin asay, not to reduce one's hatred for him. Shelatzile, not to advocate any arguments on his behalf. Shelamid love schus, not to first of all, not to save him, not to milam schus. Shelimanim lamed love chayva, not to withhold information that will lead to his conviction. Shelisnabe b'shmo, not to prophecy in the name of false gods. Not to listen to anyone who prophesizes in the name of false gods. Not to fear excluding a false prophet. Not to swear in the name of false gods. Not to perform the deeds associated with Oiv. Not to do the Yideni, and not to offer Melech. Shaloi laver lamelech shalok the matsever shalok the was 11 maski shalok the tashir lamp the bezar b'chol naber an nasa b'shul shalok the nes bezar b'chol mashal shal shal is mitzvah never shalok the chis either bezar shalok and alim shalok yeshua right and shalok the damas bin halim mabushin shalok not shalok same shalok in shalok the chaver shalok la lidish samis shalok shalok deni shaloi Yishubi then shalok the fashion shalok the hakka pasal shalok asus pasal shalok yad yad shalok yad par the isha. The Yishu Lichtiv Kaka. So this great did. Shaloi Lasis Korchal Ames, Hilchas Tshuva, is Mitzvah Say, which is the Yishu Machid Vehelav Neshem Yisvado. And the Yimtzu Kol Mitzvahs in the Chol B'Sefer Zeh Chamish Rishum Shish Hashem Nehem Mitzvah Say V'Chamishim Mitzvah Say. Say for Abo Hilchas Shish for Zos Good Hilchas Gishma Hilchas Tefillin Tefillah Berachas Kenim Hilchas Tefillin Mitzvah B'Sefer Teida Hilchas Tzitzis Hilchas Brachas Hilchas Mila Hilchas Krishma Mitzvah Say V'Hivi V'Kas Krishma Pamayim B'Yim Hilchas Tefillin Berachas Kenim Yish B'Chol Nishtem Mitzvah Say Achas L'Abadi V'Hashem Tefillah B'Chol Yim Shnil Berachas Kenim Mitzvah B'Chol Yim Hilchas Tefillin Mitzvah Say V'Tira Yish B'Chol Nechamish Mitzvah Say V'Zeh Patel Liyas Tefillin Al Reish L'Koshel N'Liyad L'Pim Mitzvah B'Sischa Sharim Lifted Kol Yish Say V'Tira L'As B'Lifted L'Melach Say V'Shein L'As B'Tira Yish Say V'Tira Hilchas Mitzvah Say V'Hi As Tzitzah Zalkavik Shv'Silchas Bir brachas mitzvah saying he the word shmei achar kilchas milam mitzvah say achas velamos that's going to be a mishmin yimtzu comments on the whole B'Sefer Zeh achas is a mitzvah say ilchas so see the nilchas Shabbos ilchas say nilchas shvisis also ilchas shvisis yom tov ilchas chometz matzah ilchas shefer v'sugo ilchas shkom ilchas yisrachelis ilchas talis ilchas megillah v'chanaga ilchas Shabbos is b'chol chometz chomesh mitzvah say sholish mitzvah say so proton which base the shvish the last molach of lanis the Shabbos the losses who's the group of Shabbos the college thing was still ilchas even it's the Shabbos being the receive me in a mini ilchas shvish as is b'chol arbemitzvah stimmitzvah say stimmitzvah was all proton leaf base the molach of the losses but molach of lanis the sun is place so after this is very ilchas shvish is yom tov is b'chol day mitzvah the stimmitzvah as the shesh mitzvah was all proton leaf is predicted for the pesach shvi losses by molach of leaf base Ashishah Bezar Shalei Lazis by Malach Lish, being Havashu Shalei Lazis by Malach Lish, being British Lasses by Malach Lish, British Lasses by Malach Lish, such when each of the Havashu Lasses by Malach Lish, coming from Matz, Ish Befall, Shwenem, Shilas, Mrs. Asi, the Hamish, Mitzvah, so Pratan, Shalei, Homis being Arbos, and Mafatsis, a yellow man and a hash, be saying Arbos, Shalei, Homis Bana, Koshiba. Leachol Terevis Chometz Kol Shiva Shel Yirah Kol Chometz Kol Shiva Shel Imazir Chometz Kol Shiva Shel Leachol Matzah B'Leach HaPezach L'Saprim Mitzvah 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 Ilchis Shiv B'Sugo V'Yish B'Chol Shal Mitzvah Sevizo Pradan Lishmei Kol Shiva B'Echa B'Tijed Lish B'Sugo Shivas Imiachol Kol Asal Glit Ulu Milish Kol Shiva Imiachol Glit Shal Mitzvah Sevi Hilitin Kol Yish Machlis HaShekel B'Chol Shana Hilchos Kiddush HaKiddush Mitzvah Seyadas V'Hi Lashiv V'Leda L'Kbeya Basic game, you tell us call Fiddish for Fiddish, Machod Shash, and other tiniest Mrs. Say, Afas V'Hi, the Sanas for this international Machod Yitzhara, the Daily Shatabe, our two rebels, Miguel Bachad, Yish Bachon, Stemmitzes, I say, Medubis of Menem, so comes the shot in the first Pacific of Homish, who shows him Cham, Shay, Chas, Semahem, Mrs. Sevish, Shish, Mrs. Sevizo, Yish Boy Shalos, Mrs. Medubis, Seven Nation, if I was a Homish, was those who didn't help us, Yish Self-Escation, never seen Bachad, tell us now, so that was straight up, Sata. Hills issues ich begonnen arme mitzvahs stimmes as say stimmes as this is so product Lisa isha biksuba bikidushin shleiti ball isha leksuba bikidushin shleim na sheks so ve nas libes whether was me no classification ich begonnen stimmes as say Mrs. Siva ishi goes am der specific case they also person which this thesis Hills even machlis ish before la shall ich Mrs. Stimmes as Siva this is so product ja machlis shleiti nas libamlish zur ashatas of the say oh my Allah Das ist nach Absula, ich bekomme von mich mit das Assist, mit das so Rotten Lickne ist am Vater. Sie ist in seiner Soße, der Gorsch in ist, steht ist mit sich Schemna, das war leider für die Gorsch mit sich Schemna. Es ist der Seite, ich bekomme, ich soll es sagen, das sei, wo stein ist das ist so Protamasis, das Seite, der ist auch ein neues System Potato. Da ich in Schemna auch, wenn ich den I love the win and to come in the positive is schwa. Es sei mir Hand Schemna ist I say, Sefer Gedusha. This is the Sefer of the fifth book. Hilfa Yisrael Sholish. For those who don't know, Hilfa Yisrael should be Hilfa Zamachos Yisrael Street. Hilfa should be for Chol Shalif. Verstehung mit Zachas mit Ziva, Sheish mit Station mit this is a pattern. So you will aim for you will love yourself slowly. You will also slowly will. Bas is social level bas level bas for level bas so this issue with the show this issue bas penos for this issue bas Peter for level bas so for level like same show level is a few of for level is seven level is also for level as is this coming behemo so it will be should mal so the show was up at the guys was so the guys service of the level is to see level the chole the satin with the influence I mean may have because the asik There's the Shemitzil of the Kalshal, I think there's the Shiladim of the Kalshal, the Mali of the Kalshal, studies the call, the service of after the Bemachai, usually Isa, came the Lamana evil, came the Lamana of the Wilson, the Sun Shisa, came the what Philips and Narisa, but Isa, came the Shali, Isa, and Shali, follow Shali, clever the Marcus, Methodis, usually both. Hilfes Machos, the services belong to Shwelis and Mrs. Abram, the Sasiva Abram, Mrs. Arbam, and Mrs. of Buddy. Dit is mijn bij me ga je wel houden, bent militair. Dit is mijn even houden met militair. Dit is mijn even houden met militair. Dit is een dag om te houden met militair. Level bij hem ga je even level. If Tom even level dog hem het me even level shut it to level shut so to level en zo to level te was perspectief zo to level shut so mijn level de willen zo lillen is zijn is go share is voor level. Die voor level even maar naar level dan voor level. Heel bij met de level dan als de level was we follow Shalay the vaste level level to a level call the miracle level camera na level level like level level this is INS of the leader for shit bekommen schmitz khamish blitzes shows mit say the time is let's say was so problem list that for khafiyel let the shit is was maybe in apple the fastest tam khaywe for the lika khaim al abanam for the shalay khaim the doch aber mit so mit in the first specific so shim me hen shmeina mit so say time is this so say for our law the first one was also the help us was so that was the series of the law kharam help us was bekhol and khamish mit so after mit so say but mit so this so protest for the shaba with this may la shaba but this is may la shaba so the space because the shaba for some moment so remember so and Danish bekhol shows mit so stimmt so say was das so protest ich mir mit so wir haben mit mich alles ja for the she for had other wish was so didn't so I did hate them I'm afraid to finish myself up but those years the behold now as some things as I say with this is was a problem she got the another pedestal the Galia sorry calling me use it so you stand another yeah later they were saying for the formation of the year know last time for the year to move the year for time for the year zugen so you can say you amaze so you tell me the best for the latest call was the she asked and the rest of the time there was a lot of comments from the show Mrs. Hamisham the comment it's a serious time so this was a plot a lot of the Adam Kasha but there was all the Adam the Eki by him but the Eki button tin Eki so this didn't matter because of the muffin Khedem Shuloi go Khedem so come son of us specific comment first and as man it's the civic comment shim as they say Zayin Sefer Esraim El Freiser Shabbos, also then help us climb up as well as any of us from us meisters and the way of us perfect and the Shabbat and this kind of one. Tell us with the help us climb this behind Kolel mitzvah say this is a brother. This is Rambam flu. This is 2 year kufan flu. The habia. Mikalaim Shloil, last is Melacha B'Tadek, Behemet Yata Flu, Bishkalim Mills, Madlas Anim, Ish B'Chol, Lon, Shlish, Srim, Shivam, Sheish, Mishalis, Sevizo Puddin. Niach Peo, Shli, Sala Peo, Niach, like it's the Nakada, like the Lazav, this became Shloila, Kenim Lazav, Cam Shlilatis, but I can Maniach, Shil, the Palace, Shil Happers, my son, and Lincoln, Stock, Miss Sayad. So ja, Mr. Lovell, die heel veel stroomboys. Eerst nog wel eens, maar met zes times is this is zo, but dan happens, dan moet je happens, dan wordt meisjes wel jagen, van meisjes zal zeggen wel ja, maar als het is vol, dus er toe maar vol, after the tashuv. Kein is voor Thomas vol, oude Thomas vol, kein bij Tommy Thomas vol, gewoon from wil je moeder, maar pas op dat is meisjes met zes jaar voor hier afers. Hij zegt zo als er zo'n misbaan als die ja, dit en al die maar meisjes zijn weer dat er bij je begon te show met z'n schuldig met z'n statistisch met z'n sebedel praten happers meisjes zijn niet leuk dan we beschaat zo gaan kurz maar zo shasiva sigo shlaf op tom shlaf man nie shlaf meisjes zijn heel zo dan het is lijn shlaf meisjes het is de post lijn shlaf al meisjes iets of is lijn is net dat wij kunnen dus in geval we zijn wel of de meisjes in de geval dat we wat is we de meisjes Vieles begonnen Sharmat is bonus be will ich behol on is Tasha Mrs. Schmidt Sassi Bachat Mrs. Mrs. Bizo but Mahapish begonnen Mahalis when meet the Shila for I came begonnen position line leap so in Mahapish how came losses real family cable came we clean it is Sagay this beginnen build in beginning like came this is better hammer with in beginning like came the life better hammer with us of this is from the view ich behol Stein SM is station to the station to Sassi So, Prater Shitish Base Saras Mulachabash Fishla Yabba, the Mula Vedasaras, Bashim Shinish Yabba, the Vedasar Idam, the Shanazu, so Yitzar Sphere Connected Occasion, so Yitzar and Zim Connected Basin, she Yashvan Machatitsa, she Yashvan's called Buses, for Yish, for Yitu Alabeba, Sayman will have his kid Mashmita Gadish, like Yogan, many Lisper Sheva, Shanam Sheva, Kadishnish, the Kabishan, the Kebasheva, was said Tishi, Yelats Salvadan Kosh Shalate, Ove, Adam Bashanazu, for Yitzar, so Connected Occasion, for Yitzar and Sana Connected Basin, Pitin Gulu, Lars Bashana, so he didn't stay at Huzas, Mikna, Shalate, Makar, the Mrs. Din, but in Orevika, Fema, the Yifuk Sheva Lever, saw Lason Lahem, Arden, a tunnel shows Bahan, Liga Sheva Levi, but we are looking at him, Arden Lashavas and Gersham, Shalai, Yimach, and Liga Sharim, Alagam, Elam, that the Eva Banaka, even into comments, and the Flawless, Save as a Sheva Vashishim, Mahan Station, Mrs. Seva, Shamas Station, Mrs. Okay. So the rest, just gotta read to myself. The reason why I did not translate these is because it's it's a lot of explanation, and this is exactly what the whole Rambam is going to speak about. So, in Hashem, tomorrow, we're going to start the actual halachas of Mada, say the book of knowledge, and we will begin in Hashem, tomorrow morning.